and welcome to Apex Reviews. You know, lately we've really been getting into simulator racing. We did a whole episode on Torque Sim Racing. Torque uses 3 screens and a PC-based simulator. The prices are reasonable. The problem is, Torque is about 45 minutes from where we all live. We have a good time every time we go. But it's just too far away every time you want to jump in your sim and throw down some quick laps. We definitely wanted to try to bring this experience closer. Triple screens was great, but all we had at our house was an Xbox. We also wanted to make sure we could include both Formula 1 racing and drifting and GT racing. You can do that at Torque, and that's something we were looking for at the house. Next, we hooked up with the guys at DRS out in Denver, Colorado. This $100,000 sim has full motion. We played iRacing in it, and it was a complete blast. You do get a little sick after about 30 to 45 minutes of it. It takes a little bit of time to get used to. But $100,000 was a little steep, not something I could easily put in my living room. If you're out in Denver, definitely check out DRS. They'll throw you in the sim for half an hour, and you'll have a blast, I promise. The full motion is something that you have to experience. It's difficult to watch. It's even more difficult to drive. They had this set at about 50%, and it still throws you around a little bit. You really get into it. She loved it. One thing we liked about DRS was you could have multiple screens. You have screens that you're driving on, and then you also have cameras you can connect to the PC so other people can watch what you're doing. So it's fun for more than just the person driving. It is pretty fun to watch. Our scaled down version came from Next Level Racing. We went with the F1 GT conversion, but we pretty much just leave it in the F1 seating. We connected it to our Xbox, and we got the Fanatec wheels, direct drive, and pedals. Assembly wasn't too difficult. If you've played with Legos before, it's pretty much just that easy. The instructions were all in color, and the packaging was nice and firm. I can tell you that when I was assembling this, I really cranked down on the screws, and this rig held up. I got it for $499 from Amazon. Assembly was pretty easy. It took me around 3 hours. I will say though that once I have it set up, I don't plan on converting it from Formula 1 and then back to GT seating. That takes a little bit of energy. Sliding the seat forward and backward is easy enough, so if you have drivers of different heights, that's not a big deal. But converting it back and forth seems like a little bit too much trouble for me. We went with the Fanatec 8Nm direct drive steering box, the McLaren F1 GT steering wheel, and some load cell pedals also from Fanatec. They sold them all together as a kit. They work flawlessly with the Xbox. They can also work on a PC if you plan on upgrading your rig at some point. 8 Nm isn't bad. At some point I plan on upgrading to something up in the 20s. Even though you end up dialing back the force of a high Nm direct drive system, having something up in the 20s allows you to get more fidelity out of the steering. You might only be using a 10 or 15 Nm feedback, but then when you hit a bump or you get some vibrations, there's some extra force in that steering box so that you can feel it through the steering wheel. That's really the benefit of having a high Nm direct drive box. There's a lot of switches on the McLaren steering wheel. You can only use the switches that directly correlate to an Xbox switch. So I use the hat and a few of the other buttons. They're all programmable just like your Xbox controller, but you won't get full use out of all the steering wheels unless you have a PC. To be perfectly honest, me and my brother and my 2 sons have put in hours worth of lap times playing Assetto Corsa Competizione. At some point we're going to download F1 2024, but right now we're just knocking down lap times with this game. We're having a blast. Xbox did a great job with the graphics, The steering wheel feels great, lots of force feedback, and the load cell pedals are fantastic. If you include the Xbox, the TV, the rig, the pedals, the steering wheel, and the direct drive system, all in all, you're in this for about $2,000. That's a pretty good deal. Thanks for watching.